back with comedian Dave Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. I saw this guy do the biggest me fucking thing ever today. At the car park you got to park in to go to the gym. It's always fucking full, so you got to go in and sort of hope someone in the section you're in leaves, and it generally happens. You might have to wait 5 minutes or something, but someone generally leaves, and there can be a queue. If you were the first car to turn in, then you're in front and there's a couple of people behind you or something, and you're all waiting for a car to leave. Anyway, I'd found a park and there was a queue, and there was this old dude in a blue car at the front of the queue, and then there was this lady behind him in a beefed up sort of ute type thing, almost like an SUV ute thing. And the old dude is patiently waiting at the front, and the lady behind him toots her horn, goes ding, and without even looking back or turning or doing anything, this old dude opens the door and pops out of the car and fucking storms towards her car and is like, "What the fuck is your problem, lady?" And she's like, "I'm just trying to turn into the disabled parking." and the poor old cunt, he's like, "Oh, oof, oof." He bowed his head, put his hand up, and fucking moped back to his car, tail between his legs. It was brutal. It was brutal to watch. Poor cunt. That's what you get for the overreaction. I would have doubled down. I would have been like, "Why don't you fucking just go around me, cunt? Huh? There's fucking space." But I don't know. That's not a good play when the lady's trying to get into the disabled parking, is it? No, you can't even make that play. You can't double down. Because if you double down and you're still in the front of the line, that lady pulls in and the boot opens automatically, and then you just hear the lowering of the ramp to get the fucking wheelchair out. And you can't be there watching that. Even I couldn't have doubled down in that situation. I definitely would have done what the old dude did. Possibly worse. It depends what podcast I was listening to at the time. If it was Jetsumna Tenzin Palmo talking about Buddhism, then I would have got out and still yelled at her, but it wouldn't have been as violent. If it was like Chael Sonnen talking about the UFC, chuck the car in reverse and just ram her. Oh my God. You just don't know, do you? You can't just be flying off the handle at everything. I mean, you can, but it's probably not going to get you far, is it? So, in other news, I've started drinking decaf coffee over the last week or so, and my teeth are so fucking yellow, it's hard to even smile anymore. I'm drinking 4, maybe 5 cups of black tea and maybe 3 cups of decaf coffee a day. And there's just no amount of brushing that can defend against that much fucking brown. It's too much. I'm going to have to change it up. I'm drinking coffee because apparently the benefits of coffee are extraordinary, but I can't process the caffeine. I get too jittery. But for some reason, tea doesn't affect me. I can fucking have a tea at 8 o'clock and I will fall asleep easy. But I need to do something because it's going to cost $250 every couple of months to keep my teeth clean, to whiten my teeth and fucking get the stains out. Not to mention not being fucking confident enough to smile because your little fucking corn, what are they? What are the individual corn pieces called? I know the big thing's a cob. Pallets? Who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck what the individual corns are called? But they look very similar to what my teeth look like now. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to go back to yerba mate. I haven't had any since I got back from overseas. But how am I going to keep the coffee in? Maybe I'm just going to have to fucking Scull it. Just do one pot in the morning and just fucking neck it so I'm not just sipping at it. I don't know. These are the fucking problems. Everything's a trade-off. Anyway, it's the start of another work week, and you know what that means. It's Ask Boyle time. So if you have a question you would like answered by one of the greatest minds of the generation or any generation, comedian, philosopher, crane operator, Le Boyle, then head to my website, boylecomedy.com. There's a section there for Ask Boyle. Put in your dates, put in the question, and I'll get to it. We need some fucked up Friday stories. Get in the fucked up Friday stories. Send them through the website as well. First in, best dressed. Get on it. And while you're there, how about you become one of the fucking true loyalists, a true DeGenny, and join the Patreon. It's £1 a month. You get the DeGenny Diaries. You can fucking be interviewed by the master interviewer, myself. You get all the other shit I'm going to put up there. The Bitcoin video, which I will release tonight at some point. I'm just trying to get some referral codes. So if you do buy Bitcoin or you do buy any of the shit that I suggest, then I get a little fucking kickback. Is it all right for me to make some money on the side? Huh? Anyway, fucking join the Patreon. £1 a month. It all goes to a good cause. That cause being me. I just want to shout out a couple of the new Patreon subscribers. We got Miles Wallace, another Canadian. The Canadians are just fucking, they're pulling for the Boyle. Love Canadians. And Big Justice. Big fucking Justice. He actually has been a Patreon supporter for fucking years, but it says he's a new Patreon supporter. I don't know what happened. I want to interview Big Justice on the fucking DeGenny Diaries as well because he's full hillbilly. US hillbilly. Big red beard, dart smoking, fucking hillbilly. Anyway, let's get to this week's Ask Boyle. So this week's Ask Boyle was sent in by my man fucking Kevin from Vancouver. Another Canadian Kev. This isn't Kev who I stayed with in Toronto or the Canadian Kev who does my website. This is Kev from Vancouver. So here's his question. Hey, it's Kev from Vancouver. You never replied to my email, but I figured that's a good thing. Kev, I plan on replying to it. I got sent a bunch of emails after my show in Vancouver, and I've been meaning to get around to replying to all of them. I will, still. It's just, you know, when you put something off for so long that it becomes a burden, but you definitely mean to come back and do it. I'm coming back to do it. Anyway, let's get to the fucking question. I have a question that I've been wanting to ask you for a while. I've been to rehab or treatment, as they call it. And when you've been to these places, they call it being in recovery. Do you, Boyle, consider yourself in recovery? Well, Kev from Van, the man, you have come to the right place. I don't like that word at all. I mean, if it helps you, good on you. But to me, that sounds like real fucking diseasey. And I'm not totally sold that alcoholism is a fucking disease. Maybe for some people, I don't know. Like you're in recovery from cancer or remission, recovery, whatever. I don't feel like alcoholism is like the disease. I feel like it's more the symptom. I feel like you use alcohol to treat some other underlying issue. Like there's already the disease, and to manage the disease, you use the booze. So I never really liked the word recovery. And also, I feel like that's a disempowering word, recovery. Like you're always in recovery. I feel like when you say that, you're sort of handing over your agency. And I guess that's what you do in the 12-step program. You hand over your agency to a higher power. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing for most people. I can see how that could work for people. as a whole, it's probably worked better than anything else we've come up with so far. But for me, that wouldn't have worked. Like, I resist authority. And who's the biggest authority? God. That doesn't mean I don't believe in a higher power or something like that. It just means don't tell me what the fuck to do, all right? I'll do it. I'll get it done. Like the way I feel now, it's nothing fancy or fucking there's no trick to it. It's just something I don't do anymore. That's all it is. It's like, all right, I used to do that. I don't do that now. Do I miss it? Yes. Today I missed it. A mate of mine sent me a fucking photo of him in Krakow on a fucking 3-day bender. And the idea of having a 3-day bender in Poland made me miss drinking a little bit. But I don't do it anymore, so it was very fleeting. I think one of the steps in AA is admitting that you're powerless against alcohol or some shit like that. And that's true. That part's true. If I had one fucking beer right now, it's over. I can't tell you how over it is. I will drink so fucking hard. I'd be dead so quickly. That's how powerless I am against it. But I know that, and that's why I don't do it. To me now, the way I'm wired, and especially because I haven't drunk in almost 5 years, and I know from experience, after quitting drinking for 16 months or whatever it was when I was younger, when I came back to drinking, it was just spring loaded. I came back hard. And now it's been 5 years and that coil is fully loaded. So if I ever came back to drinking, it would be almost certain death. So if you look at it that way, it's just alcohol for me now is probably the same as doing fentanyl. The margin for error is tiny, almost fucking non-existent. You're almost certainly going to die at some point. So I just don't do it. But it's a process to get to that stage. It's probably all the stages of grieving. And then eventually it's just acceptance. I just don't do it anymore. So recovery, I don't really feel like I'm recovering from anything. I just don't do the thing that was killing me anymore. Maybe I should speak to some more people that are sober for long periods of time, because you hear some people who are every day is a struggle. Every day's a new day I have to overcome. And they've been sober for 20 years. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Every day's a struggle. Jesus Christ. So you've been white knuckling it for 20 years, have you, cunt? Every day's a struggle. Everyone's different, but every day for me, from my perspective, isn't a struggle. Once you've fully made your mind up and you've got a couple of years under your belt, it's just something you don't do anymore. I don't know if this is sounding overly arrogant, and I'm probably going to end up on a bender in about 3 weeks because I said all this shit, but that's how I feel at the moment. Anyway, that's how I feel about recovery. That cunt never got back to me about doing the gig at AA. I really wanted to go down and do that. It would have given me a good opportunity to go down there, ask some questions, see what's going on down there. Anyway, thanks for your question, Kev. I hope it fucking helped. That'll do for today, and I'll see ya the fuck later.